Greetings, I'm Pillar Nexus, the Ancient Gladiator today with Pillar Loves Tabletop Games. Today's episode, Polynesia. Goal of the games have the most points at the end, and to that end you're going to be exploring and traveling to various islands and trying to fulfill conditions on tide cards by the end of the game. Okay. As part of the setup, each player will get their player color with their board, 5 of their tribe members on the main island, 3 of each resource, their selection of boats. One player will randomly be given the first player marker. The volcano bag will be set up with these stones. A tide card will be drawn from each of the 3 tide card decks. Tokens will be set up on the board so that the tokens with the green back will go on the archipelagos, and the tokens with the orange back will go with the turtle symbol. Some of them will have X's on them after they are flipped up. In that case, they're removed from the board. Otherwise, they will stay where they are. So, once everything is set up, the phase marker will start on 3. And then each player will take their turn. When each player's taken their turn, the marker moves down to 2, then to 1, and then the maintenance phase. What players do on their turn? They can explore. Regardless of wherever your tribe members are, you can explore any route. To do it, you pay a number of resources of one type equal to the current phase. The later you do it, the cheaper it is, but you might miss out on opportunities that way. So to set up the route, place your boat there on the line and spend resources based on the phase. There are clams or fish. Leave 1 token behind to show that that's the resource needed for further routes. Other players can jump in on the route by paying that player 2 resources of that type. They will have to, further players would then have to pay 2 resources of that type to each of the players who got there first. It's progressively further in expense as more and more players take the route. Travel. You get a number of movement points equal to the phase. Every movement point allows you to move 1 tribe member, 1 island. Traveling these orange routes is free. Traveling your own routes is free. To travel another player's route, you'll have to give that player the matching type of resource and take one of their members with you. There's no swimming across the open sea. You can populate. You will take, regardless of the phase, either 1 if you're populating somewhere out in the islands, or 3 if you're putting them on the main island. You will probably want to do that early so you have time to get them off. And then finally there's fish. Depending on what phase it is, regardless of wherever your tribe members are, you get that many resources of one type. Either clams or fish. The fish detail's pretty interesting. It's something to do earlier rather than later. But sometimes you might be in a position where you kind of have to do it later. Once everyone has taken their action, goes down, and it'll affect costs and stuff. Eventually, everyone has taken their last action for the round, and it goes to the maintenance step. A random stone will be pulled from the volcano bag. If it is gray, nothing happens. If it is red, it is added to the volcano, and if it is the 6th red cube, that triggers the end of the game immediately. If it is black, 2 more random cubes are pulled from the bag. It could be 2 gray, or it could be 2 red, or it could be 1 of each. It stands to drastically shorten the game when it's pulled. The start player will then choose a resource to go into decline. So the player holding the start player token will say clams or fish, and everyone will have to discard those. Even they do. So, like the purple player holding the start player token currently has 3 fish and no clams. They're probably going to say clams to keep everyone on the level, that same level. And then people will collect from their fishing spots. If they have a tribes member on a fish symbol, they will get a fish. If they have a tribes member on the clam symbol, they'll get a clam. They'll go to the player boards. Anyone holding these bonus tokens that show a clam or a fish will also get one immediately. And the first player token will pass to the left. Speaking of these tokens, in order to get them, you must be the active player traveling to that island. Whether you're traveling along your own route or someone else's, if you are the active player when you get to that island, you take it. A mask might be something that's called for by the tide cards for points. These tokens are straight up points. Again, the fish and the shell provide extra resources during the fishing step, or the gain resources. This lets you just put out a boat for free. You don't have to pay anything for it. You don't have to pay anyone if it's an existing route. It's just yours. Other things on the islands, aside from the clams and fish, are the point markers, or the point marks. As long as you have someone on that island at the end of the game, you'll get that many points. Even if multiple tribe members are there from multiple tribes, each player with at least one person there is going to get the points. And then the start marker passed, it goes back to the start. And eventually the game is going to end. Because eventually 6 redstones will be in the volcano. Come on. There we go. And that'll be the end of that. Any tribe members that are still on the main island, or the 3 immediately outside it, are wiped out and returned to their player boards as per final scoring. Your final points at the end start with the most valuable open space you have on your player board. You have to get at least 4 people to safety to get even 1 point. But it's possible to, if you coordinate your stuff well enough, to potentially get up to 7. You'll get points for each island you occupy with the point symbol, for each token you hold with the point symbol. There are point tokens that can be received through certain tide cards, not this one, but those are worth a point each. The tide cards themselves, the 1 cards will refer to archipelagos. So each player gets 2 points for each archipelago, which are these pairs of islands here, where their tribe is present on both islands. So here, that's 2 points. It's also another 10 points if they get on all 4 of them. I think it's another 10. I would imagine that 10 instead of 8 would make sense. But an extra 10 points would be pretty impressive. The 2 cards trigger off of masks. So, each player gets as many points as the result of multiplying the number of masks they have obtained by the number of archipelagos where they have at least 1. So, if you have no masks, you get no bonus. If you have 1, then it's going to be based on the archipelagos. So it'll be 3. If you can get 2 masks, then that will double that. So 3 would become 6. These are just examples of what might come up. Every game's going to be different, and that's part of what I like about this. The 3 tide card is just a general rules thing. Like for this one, when a player performs the populate action, they can pay 3 resources of the same type to put an additional tribe member on the main island. Even if they populated somewhere else, it's just get another person out there to work with. So, why do I like this game? The last time I played this game, it was part of a Board Game League final. And it was between the various tide cards that come up and your ability to just potentially force a tribe member to move even if that's not where they're intending to go, to mess with other players' plans, but also at your own expense. And the ticking clock that is the volcano is just such a weird kind of game. But it also moves quickly, so it's not dragging on too much. The game's going to end in anywhere from 5 rounds to 9 rounds. So you know it's going to not take too terribly long. The art style is pretty nice. The designs for the player board symbols and the point symbol really cool. Yeah, this is a game I'm going to cover the first few rounds of and show what all it has to offer. It's worth noting that this is the 4-player side of the map, or side of the board. Something that might come up is playing with 2 or 3 players. Here we go. Flip that over. Carefully, I don't want to do too much damage to this. It changes some of the route setups. But otherwise it's not too terribly different. Yeah. Also, with 2 players, you can only explore new routes. You cannot jump on someone else's route. So it incentivizes exploring that much more. But yeah, the game is still fairly recent. That it shouldn't be too hard to get a copy of it. Yeah, Polynesia, check it out. Try it, play it, have fun. I do recommend. And just see how well you can do. This seems like a game where the points are going to be really tight. Um, Even with the bonuses, it seems like it's going to be really hard for one person to just run away with the game. So I think that's another point of recommendation. So yeah, thanks for watching. This has been Pillar Nexus. I'll see you next time.